Good evening or welcome to another video on All Hail the Ale. Tonight we are going for a beer from one of my favourite craft brewers. Well, I say my favourite craft brewers. This is a collaboration brew, as everything in the Patrons Project is. And it's a collaboration between Northern Monk and Deya, and in this instance the beer is Skelatory. Now, I loved Skelatory as a kid. Because I'm a big He-Man fan, you know, as most kids of the 80s were. And Brexit, yeah, because obviously it references Brexit in a fairly big way. I'm a big fan of Brexit. It's making for some interesting times. And that's about as political as we're going to get here, because this is all about the beer, So what can I tell you about Skelatory? Well, it is Patrons Project 906, and like I say, it's a collaboration between Northern Monk and Deya. You've got Ben and Ink doing the artwork in the usual manner. It's a double dry hopped IPA, and it weighs in at 6.8%, 440ml can. And as with all the Patrons Project brews, you have one of these funky labels that if you peel and reveal, like so, you get loads of information. What does it say? So we'll read about the beer in question, as opposed to the individuals about Deya and Ben Mather. So it is a double dry hopped IPA, and it's 6.8% ABV, and the EBC is 10, the IBU is 25. And it says here, it would be wrong of us to have favourite brewers to collaborate with. It would be worse than choosing our favourite child or puppy. Even worse, ignoring the views of 48% of the population in favour of saving your own neck. Okay, so they're getting political. Let's ignore that little bit. Yeah. Don't do politics, brewers. You're going to piss people off. Anyway, it says here, we love their infectious enthusiasm and geekiness for brewing, their attention to detail, and above all, we share a very similar view on how we want our IPAs to be and how we go about it. As a side note, Deya founder Theo loves playing a bit of five-a-side. Keep letting go of the label. And we were a shorter player for the Team Monk Kickabout, so we put the call out and he answered. This IPA utilises a blend of New Zealand, Australian and American hop varieties, with New Zealand Moteuka taking up the lead with its distinctive upfront lime character, Vic Secret and Mosaic contributing hints of passion fruit, dark berries and grapefruit. Continuing a bit of a theme in our projects with Deya, we put together a multi-grain grist with the earth and spice flavours of malted rye prominent once again, this time backed up with malted oats and flake barley for a robust, complex backbone. So, there we are. There we are. So, politics aside, I like where it's going. Flavours sound interesting. Let's pop it open and see what we get. So we have pale, as I would expect, slightly hazy, bit of a shit pour, apologies. There we are. So, on the whole, that's your beer. Like I say, relatively hazy, decent sized head on it. Like I say, apologies for the pour. The aromas are what I'd expect. Slightly sweet, bits of mango, bits more, not really getting any passion fruit, not really getting any grapefruit either for that matter. Plenty of mango, a little bit of hop. Almost like a lactose sweetness going on. Let's top her up and see what we get. So, let's get through the head and enjoy. Cheers. I like that. It's quite dry, quite sharp, and a little bit bitter. And in keeping with the with a political thing. We will make it a little bit political. It's a little bit bitter, like some of the people on the Brexit argument. I don't know what way you voted. I'm not going to say which way I voted, but whichever way you look, there's people who are bitter on all sides. So I guess you could say it's a little bit. It's representative of Brexit, you could say. As for the flavours, though, I'm really enjoying that. The hop is there, and that is one thing I look for in a beer. Got a bit of fruit flavour. Got plenty. I say plenty. Got just the right amount of bitterness. So it's not punching you in the face bitter, but you're not wanting more. It's just right. Bit like Goldilocks in that sense. Daddy Bear's was too hot. Mama Bear's was, Baby Bear's was too cold, and Mama Bear's was just right. This is just right on the bitterness front. Fruit flavours, I'm getting more like a sweet lactosey mango flavour than anything else. I'm not getting grapefruit in the flavour sense. Yes, a bit of bitterness that could be attributed to a grapefruit type flavour, but it's more just general hop bitterness. And I guess it comes from the double dry hopping. That's nice. That is nice. Now, we come to a matter of the score. So, Skelatory. What did I pay for it? Well, I paid a whole £5.85 for a 440ml can from Otter's Tears. Would I buy it again? On the flavour alone, absolutely. On the amusing Skeletor based artwork, yeah, I like the artwork, you know, it's funny. It's a almost satirical poke at the current situation here in the UK, for anyone who's watching abroad. I'm pretty sure you've heard of Brexit by now. If not, which rock have you been hiding under for the past 2 years? Not long to go, mind. Yeah, I would buy it again. There we go. The flavours are really nice. I love the flavour. I love the level of hop. I like that intermediate level of bitterness. And I like the artwork. Now, what would I score it? Well, I said I'd buy it again, so it's a minimum of 3. It's got lots of flavours, which I love, so it's a minimum of a 4. So it's just a case of how much more than a 4 would I give it? Well, the finish is dry. I don't mind the dry finish, but I prefer a slightly sweet finish to a fruity-based IPA. Whilst not technically a fruit-based IPA, there are fruity flavours, and I would prefer a slightly sweeter finish, and I know that's difficult to achieve, but I'm not going to knock them too much for that. I like the level of hop, I like the level of bitterness, so if it was just a slightly sweeter finish, it would get top marks. So I think 4 3/4 for Skelatory. So, ladies and gents, boys and girls, this has been the Patrons Project Skelatory with Northern Monk and Deya. I've been Nick, this has been the beer, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.